I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Council of Dads After Show, Episode 3. What do you want to be is the title of this episode. And I know what I want to be. I want to be on this panel with this awesome panel of people. How is everybody doing?
Doing well, very well.
Doing good. Awesome. My name is Sean, aka the Chief of Crying, and I have this awesome crack commando unit with me. First up, say hello to Shay Jones.
Hey guys, I'm super excited to get into this episode.
Awesome. Michael Barlow.
Hey guys, I am so excited to be here, ready to talk about some Council of Dads.
And of course, my homegirl, Kay Montgomery.
Hey, what's up, guys? Ready to get into it.
All right, so yeah, a lot went on. I mean, Larry's trying to sell the Crab Shack. Theo thinks he wants to play football, and Luly's on some Truth Shark stuff. I don't know if she really wants to get that crazy. I can usually depend on this show to give me a good cry, but this time they did me dirty because they got me craving a crab sandwich. I want a Scotty. All right, overall thoughts. Let's talk about this. Let's start with you, Shay.
Overall, I thought it was a really great episode because even though he's gone, there is like figuring out what you're going to do with the time that he's not here. You have decisions to make. You have 4 kids to raise. I know you got 5, but you got 4 to raise. They don't need some money for college. I mean, unless you're Charlotte, she can get her scholarship and we're good. That's free money. However, I do disagree with the fact that like Larry wants to sell the shack. It's not that he wants to be able to take care of Robin. I think he's more doing it for her benefit. That's where I stand on that situation.
Okay. Michael, overall thoughts.
That was a great episode. I always know that I'm being sucked into an episode when the entire time I'm like, wait, why are you doing this? Wait, why are you doing that? And I kept saying that when Luly's like searching for the truth, I'm like, girl, calm down. Like, you don't need to know all that stuff. And when they try, like, everyone's trying to like move on and move forward. And I'm just like, take a beat and like be in your feelings for a minute. Like, it's okay to like not take off your wedding ring. I don't know how many months it's been since Scott's been dead, but like it doesn't seem like too many months have passed, and 4 months or something like that, and like she's already like, should I take my ring off? And I'm like, it's just been 4 months. This is the love of your life. Like, calm down. And that's my opinion, and I feel like everyone else's kind of willingness to move forward is also makes me go like, just calm down. Like, you want to sell the shack or not? Like, calm down. Like, just breathe, people.
Awesome. And Kay, overall thoughts.
I really liked how we have so many different storylines going on at the same time. So you can't never get bored with one storyline, because 1 minute is like Ollie's marriage. What's going to happen there? He's not paying attention to his own kid. But then the other storyline is like, should Theo be playing football? Like, it's a really dangerous sport and there's head trauma involved. But then like Luly's husband, like, is he gonna not go to school? Like, what's that whole situation with? And in historic Savannah, are they trying to gentrify a neighborhood that was built by slaves? There's just like so many moving pieces. And I really, really like that part.
Awesome. All right. So first order of business. You can't sell the Crab Shack. Come on, Larry.
Yes,
it's
you
only
can.
Been 4 months.
I'm sorry. Yes, you can.
You need funds.
Come
you got
on.
a lot of kids.
Come on, like,
Brad. You got a lot of kids. I like how Larry was like, is the chicken sandwich gonna
feed your family? Well, it might if you give it a hot minute. Come on, Larry. I get it. We want to take care of people, but I think back to Michael's point, it ain't like it's been 3 years, guys. It's been 4 months. Come
on.
Here's
the thing. It's not, the point is not like, I love when she said like, he will still live on. Like, the restaurant is not him. Like, it's just something that he liked to do. And this is not my dream, so I don't have to continue doing it. Guess what? We're going to talk about him. We're going to have pictures of him. He's going to be alive in our hearts. Like, I do not have to struggle financially with 4 kids. You got to put 4 kids through college. I'm not going to be able to struggle financially just so I can have something that was his like dream. Like,
okay, Michael, come in here. Come and help me out.
So I get what you're saying, but Robin is a whole doctor, and so
Well,
and she got the little girl. She's a genius, so she's probably gonna get all kind of scholarships. So that's not even the issue. But I want to point out something that I found interesting: the parallel between how they're wanting to preserve this legacy property that the former slaves bought and built upon, and then on the same token, they're like, okay, well, Scott's legacy, it's always gonna be him, but let's sell it. Like the parallel for me is, well, if this legacy, granted, it's older and like more
important to the fabric of America. Yes, go on.
To America, but I also see that being something that is important to a family. Like I have family land that has been in my family for 200 years. It was built on by my ancestors that were former slaves, but it's not important for the rest of the world, but it's important for my family. And I would never sell it because the legacy is my family. And I think that that's why I was like, well, why is it even up for discussion? Yeah, like $750,000 is a lot of money, but you're a doctor, like you're fine. Even the children were like, do we really need the money? In the long run, I think they're gonna end up regretting it, to be quite honest.
Well, I mean, you keep saying that she's a doctor. She just had a baby. She had like grievance leave. She might not have been making the money she was used to making while she was still married. There are some things that I'm not trying to be insensitive about it, but like there are some situations financially that while this is going to be a good thing for her and her family going forward, it's not about like just you're not trying to really leave the past behind, but you also have to still move forward because you can't continue to live in the past. Because if you continue to live in the past, how can you get to the other side, get to a better future?
Right, but I get that, but like none of them are going to college anytime soon. Like they have like.
But listen,
Theo is like 16.
It's been 4 months. 4 months. Calm down.
Bro, she got a brand new baby and she got stair-step kids. College isn't like when we're in college. When I was in college was like $2,500 a semester, like $3,500 a year. College now is $35,000 a year. Like I have
so then she gets one kid through college.
The reason why I'm not awake at night worrying about college is because my husband works for a college, so we have a tuition share. Even with their tuition paid for, guys, I was looking at housing. Housing is like $17,000 a year, and college is paid for. You guys, listen. I'm not trying to be like, you guys don't know you don't have kids, but let me tell you, you guys don't know because you don't have kids. If you have 4 kids, it doesn't matter how young they are, you're going to be working your entire life. I was a little bit blown away by her asking them. I was like, they're kids. They have no concept. They have zero concept of like money and college and stuff. Sure. You shouldn't even ask them. You should have just been like, guys, we're selling it. We're still going to go there every Sunday and have memories of dad. But agree to disagree, although I will say myself, I think that was a really good point. You made a really good point about his legacy and family land. You got me there. You got me there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a great point, Michael. I think there's a macro and a micro, right? Like obviously the slave thing is a macro and this is a micro, but I think anybody understands a family legacy. So I think it's a really great point that he brought up. I also though think that she should have, I'm glad she talked to the kids because the kids, this is all still fresh and new. And even if you don't actually take what they're going to say, but just including them, I think I think that's how this family rolls. I don't think it's just like, well, mom rules and that's it. I mean, I understood why.
I'd have been mad.
But ultimately she did. She made them think they had an option.
Yeah, I was saying she's a good mom. She's a good mom. She's going to make the decision, but at least let them have a voice. Let
them pretend like they have a voice in the conversation.
Okay, I love it. I didn't think we were gonna get this heated on this. This is good. This is fun. I love that there's a line that Larry, because of course Anthony is against all this, right? This is his boy's legacy. I mean, he just left his restaurant to come down to help out. And Larry, this is why I love Larry. He says to Anthony, "You're the talent. You're not management.
You're not management.
You're not management. You're just the talent. You're the pretty face. You make the tomatoes taste good. But at the end of the day, I'm the businessman." Talk a little bit about that, Michael. I just thought that was a great moment.
I mean, Larry is full of wisdom, and but at the same time, I feel like he is overcompensating, and they're just kind of adapting and getting used to the fact that he just oversteps all the time, in my opinion. I think Anthony had great points as to why they shouldn't even acknowledge this offer, because it's his boy's legacy, like you said, and y'all gonna be mad when this new company comes in and the Scotty disappears and starts being called something else.
The Krabby Patty.
Okay. So what do we think? Are we good on the least beginning of this? Should we move on to the next thing? Is everybody all right? Everybody feel like they got their 2 cents in? I don't want to get.
I will say, can I just say this one point
Sure.
about Larry? Because y'all know I love Larry. I thought it was interesting when Larry was like, you can't always depend on the restaurant. Anything could happen. People could stop eating out. And I was like, what a weird statement. If this was pre-COVID, I would have been like, why would people stop eating out? But when he said that, I was like, oh no, the business is gonna go under because of the Rona. They can't be out here like this.
I had to say, seriously, when he said it was whoever wrote this episode was amazing. They kind of just predicted Corona. If this episode came out sooner, I would just start laughing right about now, because that was some prediction happening in that statement.
Awesome. All right, so we're gonna move on. So we got our girl Luly. She's she's got some inspiration. She's gonna stay home now, not going to New York. She's gonna write her memoir. So we go to that first meeting where she's just pouring her heart out, thinks she's killing it. And wow, this lady, this group leader, just puts her on blast. You're supposed to be writing a memoir. Instead, you gave me an Instagram post.
That was hardcore.
Wow. Kay, how do you feel about that?
The read, it was a whole drag. Well, actually, yeah. She said you supposed to give me a memoir and gave me an Instagram post, and she called it hero worship, which I thought was really interesting. Which really, like, nobody wants. I thought it was a good point for her to say, like, we want to get to the really your dad. And I had been thinking about that too in previous episodes. When it came out that he had been struggling was an AA, I was like, wow, are we gonna get to that dad? Are we gonna visit that, and kind of dig that up and see how he moved from that? Because it's like a huge thing. It's a huge accomplishment. So I was glad to see her take the criticism. Kind of had a hard time with it at first, but to work through it and be like, okay, I do need to dig and figure out who my dad was really, Right. So I thought it was a good point. I mean, I thought, it was good how they made us hate the lady at first, because we're like, who is she talking to our girl like this? And then the more she talks, she's like, oh, she mad with one? Okay. Well.
Yeah. It's like, no, she's making good points. She's making good points. Michael, what were your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I kind of gave that lady the stink eye at first when she first started reading Luly like that. But then I was like, wait, she is kind of sugarcoating her dad's life. But what I found interesting was how she started the story talking about how he showed up drunk to her birth. And I was like, so why wouldn't you why it makes sense to dive into that? Like, you don't jump from showing up drunk to the birth to he's the best dad on the entire planet without there being some kind of story in the middle.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what we want. And I'm like, okay, let's get to it. So I appreciate what the leader, teacher, professor lady had to say in the end.
Right. So she goes, she takes it in. She goes to Larry, because Larry was there that night, right? When her dad fell off the wagon. She finds out her dad fell off the wagon, and Larry is the one that brings him home. So she's like, I gotta go talk to Larry and find out what happened. And Larry's not too interested in having this discussion, right? What does he say? You know how lucky you are that your dad got sober before he ruined your life? You were able to admire him, cherish that gift. Wow, Shay, talk about that scene.
It's so, I mean, okay, so when it comes to her going on the search, for me, I understand why you go to Larry. However, Larry is not going to be, I already knew Larry was not going to be the most helpful when it comes to this endeavor. Because, because in this way, not only he takes the counsel of dads very seriously, but he also wants to preserve the memory of the men that he got to know with Luly. So he doesn't want to share that part of the disaster part. One, because maybe he's still ashamed of his own journey while he's now sober himself. And because there's a lot of parallels between Larry's journey as a dad and then Scott's journey as a dad. Because as we find out later, Larry's daughter is not happy. She wants nothing to do with it. But apparently, they've been through it a few times. So he kind of understands. He's like, well, if you see the truth, you might see a different side of your dad. And I don't know how you can come back from that. Because once you open Pandora's box, you cannot put it back in. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, careful what you wish for.
Because you just might get it.
That's right. That's right. So then finally, she goes to Anthony, right? Because that's her boy. That's her dad's boy. He was there on the good times, the bad. And then we get some very
and he was stealing your girl and getting her pregnant. Like, go ahead.
There's a story there. We continue.
Yeah, we're gonna get there, girl. We're gonna get there. It's all right.
Steal your girl. Go ahead.
So we have this moment where Luly's like, I'm not taking no for an answer. I'll get on this crab boat and we're talking whether you want to or not. Because obviously Anthony, again, not really interested in this conversation. And of course he keeps thinking that she knows the real truth. And of course, we got many real truths apparently that we didn't know. So we find out that of course she was actually adopted by a couple, and then dad went to go get her after a while. Kay, what were your thoughts on some of that?
Whoa, that was a good one. I could not have predicted that. I covered Little Fires Everywhere like a month ago, and that was a big part of it, was a newly adopted baby and the original mother fighting, over the kid. So I was like, wow. And you could tell it was really impactful to her. I think it was personal, and she was hurt by it. The idea that basically like he gave her up, but then he fought for her to get her back. But that's a whole nother situation too, like that she had completely missed out on. It was out, unaware of. I think what's interesting about Mr. Steal Your Girl, aka Andrew, is that
Anthony.
We learn a lot about this dude cannot keep a secret. He can't not tell something that is a secret, even inadvertently. Like, it's only a matter of time before it comes out that he might be her dad. It is only a matter of time.
Him and baby mama have kept a secret for like 20-something years. So he can't keep a secret. It just depends on how you ask the question.
Or was Scott keeping the secret? Like, when your friend is alive,
maybe everybody was keeping a secret from each other because they didn't think Scott knew.
Well, Scott didn't know. That's right, Scott didn't know.
I mean, we're getting a little into predictions here, so I don't want to get too crazy, but that's an interesting point.
Because you see a little bit of that, and I actually like the way they teased it. I like because he was fumbling around and telling her stuff, about the adoption. She doesn't know about the adoption. I like that because it made me as a viewer be like, on the edge of my seat. So every time I see him in a scene with her, I'm like, ooh, is this the time when he's gonna tell her something that he shouldn't? So
okay,
his character is interesting.
Yeah. Michael, what were your thoughts?
I mean, here's the thing about Anthony. I don't think that he is loose-lipped per se. I think that he's just putty in front of his daughter, regardless of whether he knows for sure or not. He's pretty confident that Luly is his daughter, and his heart just kind of falls out of his chest when it comes to her. as far as what I'm realizing about Luly's story arc is that she's on this journey of self-discovery, even though that's not her intention. Like she's just trying to write this memoir, but what's really happening is she's discovering who she is as she's discovering these things about her father that she didn't know, and just how much of who he actually was, how it impacts her, like how it has created the Luly that she thinks she is almost parallel to the father that she thought he was. And then what we're going to come to, I think, is that she's going to realize the Luly that she actually is a lot closer to the father that she actually has, whether it's Anthony or all of the secrets that she's going to learn about or about Scott. So it's a very interesting kind of writing story that I'm pretty intrigued with when it comes to Luly.
Nice. All right, so moving on, we got Ollie and Theo. Now it's interesting because they're doing a really good job of switching dads up with different kids. Because we thought, we liked Larry and Theo, but now this week we got Ollie and Theo, and who knew Ollie played football for Duke, right? Like that's not something I would have initially thought, but he's pretty pumped about it, and he's even more pumped about getting Theo in the football. So he starts, he gets him interested, and we see Theo come alive for probably almost the first time this whole show. Like all of a sudden, Theo feels like he's got a little bit of a purpose, and this might be a possibility. So Shay, what were your thoughts on that? And then also, I'm just going to say too that he's neglecting his own family, like Kay talked about earlier. Shay, take it away.
For the first half, I totally get it. I was like, as a kid, I used to be just so angry. And the only thing that really just got out most of my anger anyway was just doing sports. So I played football. I was the only girl on the football team. I played volleyball. I was a cheerleader. Anything that kept me active was great for me. So I definitely get why doing something constructive with all the anger you feel helps, because it does. It truly does. Everything can just melt away. But on the flip side of that, I do love the fact that Ollie is taking such an interest in Theo. I think it's good for him to show his or share his love of football with Theo. However, you can share it, but don't miss out on your daughter's winning kick and a goal.
Right.
I feel like there was a way you could do both. Like, oh, okay, cool, but I'm keeping my eye, keep your eye on your family, because neglecting them during somebody else's grief and then making your husband actually have a conversation with you, because something's not right. But what is it? Was it before Scott? Was it after Scott? Why are you pulling away from us? Because it's more than just him taking an interest in Theo, him choosing them. He's pulling away for a reason, and I would love to know what it is.
Interesting. Michael, I feel like Ollie's husband, Peter, is way more than understanding. I mean, he is just I'm just like, bro, you got to get mad, because otherwise I don't think something's going to change. So what were your thoughts on the way he handled everything?
He had more patience than I would. I feel like it was blatantly obvious that there was neglect happening. And because of the obviousness of it, he's more than deserves to be real mad. And to verbalize that anger instead of kind of trying to be contained and not, I guess he's like, oh, they're still going through their grief, so I don't want to be jealous of this family who just lost their dad. However, you have a whole family here, and we are missing out on you. You're missing out on us. You're not dead, so come home so that we can be we are a family. So I like what you said though, Shay. What was this something that was happening before Scott? I didn't think about that, but is there some other underlying things going on that's keeping him from going home or being present in his family?
I also think partially is the fact that Theo's a boy and he gets to share that part of himself with a quote unquote pseudo son.
Yeah.
Like having a father-son relationship maybe better than he had with his own dad, because he, like he said, he was closeted even in college. And maybe his own relationship with his dad now isn't as great because of the fact that he's out. So I feel like there's a lot more underneath happening too for me for that.
All right, so Kay, our resident mom. So the controversy though is football, right? Because 20 years ago, this is a no-brainer. You just play football, it's no big deal. But now we have all this concussion stuff. And as a parent, you have to take that into consideration. I mean, I'm with you, Shay. Like playing sports was a good thing for me. I think it's a good thing for a boy in general. It teaches you like teamwork and discipline, and you have to be accountable to things, and it puts your energy in a good place instead of late night at the park. You want to be during the park during the day. So talk about that, Kay. Talk about as a mom, especially.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Like him drawing that dichotomy, like there's only two kinds of kids. Like that's a falsehood. Like that's not true. But if I for sure had a son, and I have two daughters, and my husband and I have talked about this before, because he played football in high school and he played rugby in college, and we're just like if we had a kid, he wouldn't be able to play. He wouldn't be able to play a full contact football. Like we just wouldn't allow it. I mean, my husband has had multiple concussions. He has like old injuries, and he didn't even play hardcore. He has old injuries, and he worries that he could have a traumatic brain injury or some kind of after effects brain wise once he gets older. And so we have already discussed that. Like, no, we wouldn't let our son play football. There's a lot of other things that you could do to exercise, to learn teamwork, all of those. There's tons of other sports you can play, even if that's what you wanted to do. But football is not on the table. And sadly, I think that is the way of, I think that's what a lot of parents feel like now, especially in light of certain, just the latest information.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that Robin said essentially, we can give this a shot, but first concussion and you're out. So, I not saying no completely, compromising, seeing how much it means to Theo. So I like that. I think you got to kind of do that. But, having that, you have it out essentially. As soon as something happens, that's it. We're done.
Right. And there's no way he's not going to get a concussion unless he's just a kicker. Because I was like, oh, he can plan just to be a kicker. He'll never get hit.
He's so little. He probably is going to be the kid.
I was going to say, maybe even a running back, but I don't know, maybe because I played and I loved it. I just love knocking into somebody and just knocking them down. But then again, I'm just weird. So,
okay.
Especially when they found out I was a girl who knocked them down. That was the best feeling ever.
I bet that was awesome.
I still laugh so hard. It's the best feeling ever when I think about it.
So we have this kind of minor subplot with Evan, Luly's husband, where he's ready to go back to school now that he's staying, and then it's like, oh, that's going to cost you $1 billion. So he goes and visits his old hood. And I was like, as soon as he showed up there, I'm like, there is no way he is going back to school. He's going to do some local, like, from the ground up stuff. I knew it. So, Michael, talk a little bit about that. What you think about that?
I love Evan. He's just so genuine and sincere and so realized. Like, I don't think that there's another character on this show that is as realized, self-realized as Evan is. Like he was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to architecture school. Nope, that costs too much money. What I really want to do is to help the community I came from. How can I do that? Well, how about we revitalize these houses? And it's interesting that when he goes to the school and he finds out that he kind of was the inspiration for this new project that they have. And he's like, well, why don't I just do that myself?
Right.
I can hire these hourly architects and designers or whatever to like make this happen. And I love it. I think that that's a great story for him. I think that interested to see where it goes. Like I feel like there's probably going to be some friction down the line, but that's neither here nor there. But I love it. I think revitalizing a historical piece of land in Savannah is beautiful.
Can you imagine buying a house for $35,000? Oh my God.
I could probably do that back home.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie.
That was like, oh my God, $35,000 for a house. Not in LA, folks. Not in LA.
They just shut down Amoeba, and I'm not happy.
Kay, how did you feel about this Evan subplot?
Listen, I too feel like Michael. I love Evan. I would like to see more chemistry between Evan and Lou. I feel like they don't have a lot of chemistry as a couple. I'm a little bit sad by that. But I watched enough HGTV to know that's not going to be an easy situation that he has embarked on. And I was like, he came up with the idea, how's the school not going to give him a scholarship? Like, what's up with school? Like, I was mad. But I think that it's a really cool idea that he has to revitalize the neighborhood. But that's super. I mean, that's way different from what an architect does. And an architect needs a degree. An architect has to be licensed. If he just wants to be a rehab guy, like, is that going to be fulfilling? Because that's not doing the same thing. I'm just really interested to see his storyline play out, because I really feel like these are two different things. And so I'm very interested to see how it goes moving forward. If he does decide that he wants to be just like a straight up rehab person, like, that's going to be really difficult for him. And that, I mean, I'm interested to see it unfold. I think it's a good storyline. But I was just like, I mean, I have a degree in education counseling. So I was like, he should have went and talked to his counselor. She would have helped him. They could have come up with something. He could have stayed in school. You can't just be an architect. Like, yeah. So anyway, he's licensing his professional organization. I don't know. I was just like, what is happening? But I'm interested to see the storyline, because I really do like Evan's character a lot.
Awesome. And then finally, Shay, final thoughts on that.
I do like Evan. I agree with everyone. This is not, I was partly confused. So is he buying the house for him and Lulu, or is he buying it to flip it? That was where I was confused by it.
I think it was both. I think initially they would live there, or maybe just stay there and then continue down the line. But I think initially they were going to be moving in. Okay,
so if that's the case, just keep your apartment until your house is done. I would not be leaving my apartment anytime before that, because not only do you got to find the hourly guys, you have to get it inspected by a health inspector, whatever, through your house to go through the wires, see what needs to be changed, and how much money is that going to cost you? Because I'm sorry, $75,000 for your education, $150,000 to revitalize this house that I only paid $34,000 for. It's not really a hard decision for me, but to each their own. And I pray that it works out, because it's not going to be easy. But I feel like maybe he also needs this. Like, he needs to do it, and if that's his purpose and his path, let's do it. I do agree with Kay about the chemistry, just a tad. I want to see more of it between them. Like, I want to see them being this married couple. Okay. And instead, because not that I want them to fight, but I just want them to be present with each other. It doesn't seem like they're present with each other the way they should be, if that makes any sense.
Sure. No, I think Luly's definitely on, she's on a mission right now. So she's a little maybe less present than she would be. But I think that's going to be fine. I think their chemistry will develop as the show goes on. I think that just sometimes people don't gel as much as we'd want them to. But I'm not worried, because I'm with all of you. I think Evan's awesome, and he's going to be the rock for Luly. So the show ends, and Shay and Kay, you get your wish. They sell the Crab Shack.
I really didn't think they were going to sell. I was shocked. I was shocked.
I actually thought she was going to decide to keep it after the sandwich.
Right. No, I know. I wanted a Scotty after she bit into it. But before we run out of time, I want to get to our special segment this week. So, Michael, take it away, my man.
All right, for our special segment for the Council of Dads after show, in honor of Larry and Anthony and Scott be joining the prestigious Hall of TV Dads, I think it'd be great to kind of spotlight different TV dads in other genres from other TV shows throughout the history of television. And this week we're going to be talking about Ned Stark. The reason
Yes.
I chose Ned Stark from Game of Thrones is because he was the father of all fathers. He was the father of Arya, and I have them all listed. He was the father of Jon Snow and Arya and Robb and Sansa and Baron and Rickon. The reason why I picked him is because just like in the Council of Dads, Ned Stark's death kind of spearheads the entire story of the series. Granted, he had a few more episodes that he was alive in, but all the same, he was this loyal, honorable family man who did everything he could to protect his family, even losing his head. So for our first special segment, I just want to salute Ned Stark.
Yes, Ned Stark. Well done, sir. Love it. Love it. That's great. That's such a great idea. I love it. I'm excited to hear all the TV dads that we get into. I love that we started way over at Ned Stark. So we got a lot of different ways we can go with this. So I'm excited.
A lot of different dads out there.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's get into some predictions. I know Kay has some thoughts. What are your thoughts, Kay?
And now your AfterBuzz
Oh man,
TV
I think our boy is going to Larry is going to continue to show improve and be awesome. I'm really interested to see Lou and Evan's story with this house. I think it's going to be a disaster. I think they're going to go in and it's going to be a money pit. And I think that they're going to feel like they're disappointing a lot of people because I think the neighborhood is going to be like, oh, Evan came back and he's coming to like help us out and do good in the hood. And then they're going to feel added pressure because they're going to feel like he's going to feel like he's failing everybody. So we're going to see him have a more difficult time.
Okay. As long as it's Shelley Long and Tom Hanks money pit, I'm in. Michael, what are your predictions?
Well, my predictions are as follows. I think they're going to regret selling the Crab Shack. I think that this new company is going to come in and make some changes that are going to really make some people angry, including changing the Scotty. And they just kept pointing to this sandwich so much that I feel like that it's going to be a completely different sandwich when they take control. Like it's not going to taste the same. It's not going to be called the Scotty or whatever. I also predict that Luly and Evan are going to have a hard time with this house revitalization project. It's going to cause some friction, but I think it's also going to make us see or allow us to see more chemistry between them because they're going to be going through this together. I think Luly's going to continue to find out information that she's not going to want to know, and it's going to rock her world. I think that Theo's going to have a hard time in football because he's a tiny kid, and it's probably going to end up being something like he's smaller than the rest of the people on the football team because it's Georgia. We eat cornbread for breakfast. Like,
how is he gonna get on the team though? Like,
he might not even get on. It's going to be a whole thing. I think that Ollie and his family are going to continue to like not fall apart, but have friction because he's not going to immediately deal with the fact that he is neglecting them. I think that Larry is going to have to deal with his crap. Like I love Larry, I love his wisdom, but I also think that he's not dealing with the stuff in his own life that he needs to deal with. Like when he came face to face with his daughter, he's like, I'm sober, yeah, and I feel like he thinks that it's too far gone to actually work towards, and so he's just putting all this effort into this other family, but he needs to deal with his own stuff. And I think that we're going to begin to see that a little bit, especially now that JJ is clued into the fact that he does not have a great relationship with his daughter. And apparently, I guess JJ goes to school with his granddaughter or something.
Yeah, that was weird. I was like, where did she come from? Like,
All
what's
right.
happening?
All right, Shay, what are your predictions?
I predict that Luly's gonna find out your dad's not perfect, and I'm happy. I'm happy for that because parents aren't perfect, and once you realize that, your life will be so much better for it because they become human to you. But she might not like the human she finds, or whatever skeletons come with that, especially when it comes to Anthony and her birth mom. If that secret is foretold to end this season, I definitely think that Ollie, that his whole thing with his family is just gonna be something that festers until it blows up. I can definitely see that happening because I think he's gonna try to keep avoiding it and try to placate the situation until he can't anymore. And for Larry, definitely he needs to deal with his own daughter because the only way it's too late is if you stop trying.
Okay, awesome. I'll keep it really quick. I think our boy Theo's for a world of hurt when he gets on that football field. I think he's too small too. I don't think that's going to work at all. And I also think that Anthony and that corporate lady, I think something's brewing there too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
So-
Miss Hillary
Yeah.
Burden, once you're a
Yes.
Hill fan right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right, great. So that's the show. Please like us on YouTube, subscribe, comment. We'll get to your comments. If you please interact with us, we'd love it. Meanwhile, where can we find everybody? Michael, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at official Michael. That's official MYKELL.
Shay.
You guys can find me at Real Shay Jones on Twitter and Instagram.
And Kay.
And you can find me at Host K and on Instagram and Twitter. I also do Defending Jacob after show on Fridays and the Black Hollywood Reporter starting on Monday.
Awesome. You can find me at SeanStar75 on the gram, Gorilla Suit Sean on Twitter, and on the Run After Show on Mondays at 4 p.m. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. See us next time, and we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Our founder, Kevin
Bye.
Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.